Hello, everybody. I have Melanie with us. She has been a functional medicine doctor and she is excelling with the Legacy program, and I'm excited to chat with her. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here and I appreciate you inviting me.
Definitely, and you've taken time out of your move. You're pretty busy these days.
Yeah, it's been a little nutty. That's all right. It's a good break. So thank you.
Good, good. So tell us, what was life like before Legacy Builders for you? Can you kind of set the scene?
Sure. So, you know, we have a great life. And that's where I say my story is maybe different than a lot of people, because we're extremely blessed and we have always had all that we needed.
Good.
And in that we always wanted more, and our kids rodeo, and so it was an expensive habit that they developed when they were young, and as they got older and they got better and better, they were much more competitive, and that required more expensive horses and all of that. So we really um, we had a great life, and we still do, and we just wanted more. um, our life is very busy. It's not busy, it's very full, and we're intentional in how we have created our life. We've homeschooled the kids. We have a 23-year-old son now and an 18-year-old daughter who's just graduated, and my husband was working full-time physical labor and had been doing that for the last 4 years, and he hated it. And I really wanted him out of there because it that job was literally sucking the life out of him. And that was then, of course, bleeding over into all of his relationships and him physically. And it just wasn't fun to watch. And yet we felt like we needed that job for him
Yeah.
in order to maintain where we were, because that was sort of the stability, right? So I'm a functional medicine doctor. I'm a faith-based life coach. So I had much more fluidity in my schedule because I worked for myself and I set my schedule. Um, and what that means is if I'm making money, I have to be present, just like talking with you one on one. It's a one on one situation. If I want to make more money, if I need to make more money, then I have to spend more time with people individually or on coaching calls or things like that, which I love, but it takes away from the family time and what we were wanting to do as a family. So that was what we were like prior to me saying yes and opting into digital growth community and purchasing legacy builders. Yeah.
And I know in your husband's case, those physical labor jobs, especially as we get older, just takes
Yeah, he's
such
not
a
a spring
toll.
chicken.
Right.
Right.
And it just takes such a toll. It bleeds over, like you
Oh God.
said.
Yeah.
So many of
Yeah.
us see that. Even with the bedside and the 12-hour shifts, that can be a very physical job. And it can
Right.
easily bleed over to your family life where you're coming home and you're not like the mom you want to be or the wife you want
Right.
to be. Yeah.
Right.
So I guess this was what finally made you say, enough, I need a change, this wanting
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. So to a certain degree, I mean, I had always looked at different things and I've always had side hustles and done different things over the years. Frankly, none of them ever panned out. It was mostly just me hemorrhaging money, buying the inventory and having grand plans. And then 5 years later, I still have 70 lip scents, lipsticks in a baggie kind of thing. But literally, this was dropped from God. This was totally God. And he put it in my head. I started seeing people talking about digital marketing and master resale rights programs. And I kind of didn't understand it at all and started looking into it. And he just kept saying, you've got to do this. And the more I researched it, the more I realized, well, I've got to be on social media. I'm just not, that's not my thing. And I don't think so. What else you got, God? And that was, the wrong answer as usual. And he reminded me, no, this is actually what I want you to do, because the opportunity in here is so great to be able to impact globally. And this is the platform that you can use to reach so many people. And yes, it is an amazing platform for being able to financially create security for you and your family. However, it's really not about that. It's about helping people understand from a perspective shift that there is an entirely different way that you can be, do, and have in this life. And the way that we've been working in this system of trading time for dollars is a system and a paradigm that keeps us small. And as we are small, we are not impactful for the most part, and we are not influential for the most part. And he said, I am building up kingdom entrepreneurs, and the people who are willing and wanting to say yes and make a change now are going to make kingdom impact and kingdom influence. And this is one of the ways that we are going to do that. And so I just kind of did it. I purchased the program. I did not tell anyone. I did not tell my husband. I didn't tell my children. And then I had a period right after I purchased the program where I had a few technical issues, which is not the norm. And no, I've had one other person actually this year who had a little bit of problem for maybe a week or so. I had problems for about 3 to 4 weeks before I could even get my website going for this program. And in that time, I just used that to learn as much as I possibly could. And the timing was perfect as always with God, because as soon as I was able to actually articulate what this program was, that it's simply an e-platform for learning, where we are teaching people how to sell or market anything online using all the social media platforms. That is exactly when the website went live. And
Wow.
all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, isn't that perfect? Now I understand it. Now I can articulate it. And I've got 3 weeks of learning behind me and hit the ground running. And so, yeah, that was amazing.
Wow, God's timing is really everything, and that proves that
Yes.
right there.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And giving you, like you said, the vehicle to impact people globally, that we didn't have
Right.
this opportunity like 10 years ago,
No,
15 years
no,
ago. So we're so
at all.
blessed to be living right now when this is exploding
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So much potential.
so much. So what would you say clicked that gave you your momentum? Because you're doing really well with the program. Is there one pointer or one part of it that you think really helped you to your success?
Um, for me, I would say it was actually deciding that I was going to just do what I had learned in the program. So with my coaching clients, I'm always saying action is the insignia of life, right? If we don't take action, nothing is going to change. We are not going to make a difference, right? A decision is not conversion, right? I can decide I'm going to have abs, but unless I start doing the ab workout, I'm not going to have abs. Even though I decided it, until I put that action behind it, it doesn't really matter. And so I really do think it was just finally deciding, okay, I am just going to do this because this woman, Michelle, keeps saying, do these things,
Yeah.
do these things. She doesn't change what she's saying. She just kind of gives it a little spin that's a little bit different, because we hear things differently and then all of a sudden it just lands. And so, I was consistent. um, I showed up, I learned the information, and I applied it. And that's literally what I tell people. The information is in here. If you simply follow the program and you do what it says, you are going to find success.
And she does break it down step by step.
It is, yeah, put the cursor here.
Yeah,
Now this looks like this. Do you
right.
have this in this? You're good. Next stop. This is what we do next, right? And I love that. And that's
I
what I
love that
tell
too.
everybody that, we work with. We're like, it's all in there. I know you're going to have questions and you can certainly ask us and know that every answer is in there because it is literally step by step.
But like you
It's
said,
all.
sometimes we have to hear it a few different times in a few different ways for it to click, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. We all learn differently and we have things going on and we may hear it, but we're distracted. And then we hear it again. We're like, okay, got it. Got it.
For me, some of even the terminology didn't click immediately, but after a few weeks in it, even
Right.
yes, even the difference between stories and reels, I didn't come in knowing any of that.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
me either.
you
Like
needed,
zero followers, like
yeah.
never been on TikTok, had already sworn it off, would never be on TikTok. No way. Yeah. So yeah, it is, yeah, the verbiage and the vocabulary is just learning that whole thing.
And here you
That's all
are
right.
leaving your legacy on TikTok, on
Yeah.
social media, right?
Bless my heart. Oh my God.
I love it. So what does your typical workflow look like? I know, so you're on which platforms are you on, if you don't mind telling
Well,
us, sharing?
I'm on TikTok and Facebook, and I've done some on YouTube, and that will be in the next part.
Okay.
And that's all I've done. Yeah.
Okay. Do you find your successes through your community or through your social media
Um,
platforms?
I think it's primarily through the social media. Yeah, we had kind of opened a community prior to putting a community in school.
Mhm.
And so then we sort of transferred those folks over, and then we've just been expanding the community in school from there. Yeah.
Are you still working with your son?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Special time
And
for y'all.
what's that?
It's special time for y'all too.
It is, yeah, and we're both very business minded, entrepreneurial, and I think that my daughter will also be joining us now that she's graduated from high school in a different capacity.
Mhm.
And my husband will also be doing some too. So we were able to resign him 2 months after we got into the
I love
program.
that.
And so that was 10 months ago. And so yeah, this has changed our lives. It's definitely changed his life and given him life back. And so that's been amazing for all of us.
And this vehicle has been the reason you were able to retire him, this
It happened.
program,
Yes, it's been legacy.
giving
Yeah,
you that
yeah, yeah.
those extra
We
funds.
had a specific goal that we wanted to reach, and we go back to Wyoming every summer. And the last 3 summers, he's had to only come up for like 2 weeks, while the rest of us were up there for 6 or 8 weeks because he was working. And and so our goal was to be able to retire him so that he could spend the time with us last summer. And so we pushed and got her done. And he went with us last summer and has been off since then.
Oh,
So
I
yeah,
love that for your family. That is
I
awesome.
know it's been amazing. Yeah. And
So
yeah,
beautiful.
I mean, if we can do it, like that's what I tell people. Oh my gosh, if we can do it, you can do it. Whoever we're speaking with. And
Yeah, it's crazy because we have, I think, maybe 20-year-old in the program. And then I know that there are some 80-year-olds as well. So it's
yeah,
the
we
whole
actually have
spectrum of life.
two 15-year-olds who've
Oh,
joined
really? Okay.
with their parents. And then we had an 18-year-old. He joined when he was 17 in October.
Okay.
And boy, I think he's made high 5 figures, getting close to 6 figures now. Yeah.
Wow.
He was on his own and living by himself as a 17-year-old, taking care of himself. And he came in and we have just mentored him and worked with him and helped him. And yeah, February, we were sitting watching a movie and like, I think it was a Friday night and get a text and like, oh my gosh, he's just sent me a text of his new truck that he bought because of this program. I mean, it's
Impressive.
amazing. It's really changed his life
And him
completely.
being 17, imagine what the future looks like for him if he can do this
Exactly.
now.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
Michelle has said that a few times. My daughter's 21 and she just started. And Michelle keeps saying, and if y'all don't know, watching Michelle is our mentor, she keeps
Yeah.
saying how if she could have had this in her
Oh my
20s,
God. Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
already unstoppable, but where would she be now?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. That's what I tell my kids is these are skills that nobody can take from you and you have learned and you can continue to branch out and you're limited seriously only by your ability to think of ways to implement these skills.
Very
So
true.
yeah.
And for those who
Yeah.
are resisting it, the world is going digital, whether we like it or not. So, and I
Yeah.
enjoy it. I really do enjoy learning
I
these
do
things.
too.
Yeah.
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 I've had so much fun. As much as I was resisting doing this, I yeah, I enjoy it so much. And that I knew you had asked me a question and we got off on a tangent, but you know, when we first started, my workday was much longer with the digital marketing because I resisted doing the videos. It was so embarrassing to me and so uncomfortable for me. And I might take an hour to make a 1 minute video because I was like, delete, 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 delete. Like, you look like that? Oh my gosh, that
I can
cannot go
relate,
out anywhere.
but you're beautiful, but I can relate. That's
But I think that's the way a lot of women are.
mhm.
And now, in terms of my day, I literally check on the emails, respond to those, respond to any comments, um, and make sure my email automations are set to go out, create a newsletter if I need to. And any of that might take 30 minutes. And then I usually create my content if I can do it. We're all human. Some days it's like I just knock out 8 videos and then I'm set for the next 2 or 3 days. And other days I might just do one at 10 o'clock in the morning and then I might do one at 2 o'clock and then I might
Yeah.
be laying in bed thinking, oh, crud, I didn't do this video and then take 5 minutes. So I would say on average, it's an hour that I spend on this business
Okay.
that is focused actually doing the business.
And it
That
sounds
is, I
like,
think,
yes, and it sounds like some of those days you're breaking up that hour too.
oh yeah,
It fits your
oh yeah.
life.
And in this move that has been a very taxing move on all levels. The last 6 weeks, I have done basically nothing because we were just so consumed with getting moved and the deadlines and all the stuff. And so it was such a blessing because we had one of our best months again in June.
Wow.
And we're like, thank you, Lord, for these automations. And that it's things, these tasks that I can do fit in 5 minutes here, 2 minutes here, respond to someone here. And that's it. And it's just literally showing people our life. One video was just a 360 of me being engulfed by boxes and just saying, this is my life. Like, this is what we're doing. And guess what? We just made a sale. And I'm packing my life. That's what I'm doing. And saying thank you that the money will be deposited in the next 8 hours.
Because the
That's
work
all.
that you've done
Oh,
previously is
yeah.
continuing to work for you with those automations.
Yes.
Where if
Yeah.
you had a shift work job, you would not be making anything right now.
No. Yeah, exactly. So it's been such a blessing.
So, Melanie, what would you tell someone if it's a healthcare worker thinking, I'm so tired and I'm not sure if I have the energy and if this will work for me with my busy schedule?
So my response might be different than most people.
Okay.
I would say you're probably right because I work on disciplining people's minds. And
Okay.
so when I am being in my coach mode, right? So we are wanting to master our mind and monitor our mouth. And so whether you say you can or whether you say you can't, you're right. And so if you are too tired and you don't know if you can do it, if you go into something with that sort of a mindset, you might just find that you were in fact too tired and that you actually couldn't do it. However, if you have that, you also have the opposite. And so if you are too tired over here, the possibility exists that you can be completely energized. And if you have the belief that you don't know if you can do it, you can also decide that you can have the belief that you can do it. And so I would challenge whoever is thinking that way to really examine where their mind is before they take on another project. Because this does require time, it does require energy, and it does require, for most of us, learning new skills. And yet, in the healthcare profession, we know that engaging that neuroplasticity is so important to our overall health. So, learning new skills is going to benefit you on some level. And in doing that, I would say, yeah, you absolutely can do this. It's going to be a decision though. And that would be my challenge is examine where you are
Mhm.
with this because it's not hard at all. It's a very simple process. It actually becomes very mundane. And I think that's what kind of gets in the way for a lot of people is it's the same thing. You're you're essentially saying the same thing every time.
Over.
You're essentially doing the same thing every time. You just have to tweak it a little and you have to keep doing it to reach the audience and to continue to make the algorithm happy. And that stops a lot of people because they're like, there's got to be more to it.
Mhm.
Well, what else can what else? No, that's it. That's it.
Don't
It
make it
is that.
harder than it is.
And yet that's what we are inclined to do most of the time, right? We get in our own way and then we wonder
Yeah, we do.
why it's messed up. So it's but people can absolutely do it. It is, and the program is laid out in such a beautiful, simple, step-by-step way that if you just follow the steps, you will learn the information. Once you learn the information, you simply apply it. And then you rinse and repeat. That's it.
And I love that answer, Melanie, because it's so true. Our mindset is such a big part of everything we do.
Yeah, it really is.
But
And and I'm all for being a cheerleader for people saying, "Oh no, you can do it, you can do it," and people absolutely can. But if they don't believe that they can, they absolutely won't. And so, and that's a huge part of this because there's nobody lording over you telling you have to do it.
right.
So you have the opportunity to change that, flip that switch, and then you can become your own motivator and do it. But that it will require you to do that because you don't have a boss. It would just be you. So, which is awesome, right? But
But a different model than some of us are used to. And
very much so.
but what I love is once you do that and you get your mindset right and you go after it, it is achievable because you can break it up.
Absolutely.
Where a
Yeah.
healthcare worker working 12-hour
Right.
shifts can't maybe pick up another job working 12-hour shifts.
Exactly.
But this,
Exactly.
they can. They can
You,
fit it in.
you very much can. And I mean, and just literally just in the nooks and crannies, like around your day.
Right.
Once you figure out how it's going to work for you, like I said, I might be laying in bed and I'm just like, oh, right, I filmed the horses. I'll make a video of that super fast and I have it done in 4 minutes. And then I've completed my work.
Same here.
It's that simple.
I'll even be waiting for my son to get out of football or soccer and just scroll
Mhm.
back at my videos. Oh, I can use this one real
Yep,
quick because I
yep,
forgot to make my
yeah,
third one today.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, so what is next for you? Is there a goal or I mean, you've come so far, you've done so many wonderful things and helped so many people. Are you going to stay on that track with what you're doing right now, or do you have anything in the works?
Yeah, so we are continuing with this. with legacy. We love it. And I think it has so much potential for so many people. And we also, in our community, we are creating a mentoring program in that. And what we have found is there's so much information in all of these programs that are out there that a lot of people end up feeling overwhelmed by the amount of information and almost get stuck in that learning process instead of applying it once they've learned it. And so we are working on just whittling it down to the very basic, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And this is what you need to do. And until you've mastered that, put your blinders on and do nothing else. Because most people who come in are wanting to make some money and they are feeling desperate. Like, I got to get some money and I'm going to give this one last ditch effort to try to get some money in. And when they get distracted by, okay, I'm over here on this platform watching all these videos, and then I've got all these calls, and then I've got the information is amazing. And I've never seen the value, oh my goodness, in the
Yeah,
coaching programs I've done amazing coaching programs and worked with amazing people that also came along with amazing bills to pay for those programs. And the amount of value in this one is unsurpassed. I haven't seen anything like it. And because of that, sometimes it overwhelms people. So that mentoring program is our next thing. And we'll have that open for anybody who's in any of the programs and just needs, because it'll be applicable to any of the programs that are out there because it's essentially the same.
that is going to be
So
wonderful and help a lot
yeah,
of
we're
people.
excited about that. Yeah,
So, I'm in your community, but tell everyone the name of your community in case they want to check that out.
sure. It's Digital Marketing University, and that's on school. And we do have some gatekeeping to get people in because
That's good.
it's important.
Got to
So
protect it.
I just tell people answer the questions with complete sentences so that they make sense so that you can get in there. And but yeah, Digital Marketing University.
Well, that's exciting. I think that's going to be really what people need because even myself, I can easily get overwhelmed with the information
Mhm.
because there's just so
Mhm.
much information. In this program, Legacy over delivers.
Very much so.
And it's all there though. So when we master certain things, then we can keep learning.
Yeah, right.
Yes, my daughter interested I can't talk right now. My daughter is minoring in digital
Oh,
marketing at LSU.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
of course, she's paying thousands of dollars for her education, right?
mhm.
And so we talk all the time, and I'm actually getting more in this program than she's getting.
Yeah. My son actually did a master's in digital marketing, and he's like, I could easily teach the classes from what I've learned in here. And
Really,
he's
in his master's?
so basic, so
Wow.
basic what he was getting.
Wow.
And so, yeah, he's like, my professors are like, wow, this is quite a project you turn in. He's like, yeah, thanks.
That's impressive because I was just going off of my daughter's minor, but you're going
Yeah,
off of a master's
yeah.
program. So, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. So yeah, we were all excited about, oh, I can't wait to, compare them and see and then we can add it together and like, yeah.
And you
Mm-mm.
won this one. Legacy won this one
For sure.
with the
For
value.
sure.
Well,
Yes.
thank
Yeah.
you so much, Melanie, for chatting with us. I know you're gonna continue to help so many people and continue to do so well.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
I appreciate you so much.
All right. You take care. See
You
you.
too.